Hi there, and welcome to Fuzzy on the Details. My name is Fuzzy, and we've got an extra special episode today, which includes a couple of exclusives, so you're going to want to stick around to the end. We will be talking about the Getting Schooled rules from the X-Men expansion for the Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game, specifically how they function in Demiplane. And who better to talk to us about that than Mellie Doucette, Demiplane's Director of Community and Content. We're going to show you how to use the functionality in Demiplane, talk through some edge cases, give you other tips and tricks, and also get some insights into the design and development process. But what I am most excited about is an exclusive look into new features coming to Demiplane for MMRPG, some of which are going live in just a couple of days as of the time this video was released. There's lots to get to, so let's get into the details. Mellie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Fuzzy. I'm super duper excited.
Awesome. So could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your role at Demiplane?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm the director of community and content for Demiplane, which encompasses quite a lot of things. My role has changed slightly since coming over to the Roll20 side of things, but not too much. So I am kind of that first connection in our community spaces, which you've obviously seen, and I'm sure some of the folks watching this have seen as well. So they'll see me, in our Discord, in our social media, in our Reddit, or not our Reddit, in just Reddit in general. I just go looking sometimes. So we're all over the place there. But then the other side of that, the content side, is the actual digitization of the books and how those get into our system, and then putting in all of the data pieces that make those books work in the tools that our devs create.
Awesome. And that includes not only the ones in the books, but all the little free things that pop up here and there, like the X-Men
Yes.
profiles, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's anything that, that Marvel is like, yes, you're allowed to do that. We're like, great, we're on it.
Yeah, and you get it done so quickly. So thank you, because I know I've used all of those like the day they come out. So from me, thank
Glad
you
to hear
so much.
it.
Speaking of the X-Men, I was a big fan of the X-Men book even before I saw it in Demiplane. But there was something about seeing, for me, especially the getting schooled rules in Demiplane, that really made it feel like the whole product and game system came together. Can you tell us a little bit about that process of incorporating the rules into Demiplane, how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually spoke with our developer on this recently. So quick shout out first off to Thomas Opper, who is an incredible developer. Folks might not know, but he was one of the original developers on D&D Beyond. And then he's also one of the original developers here on Demiplane. So he is like a master of digital tools for role-playing games. And he was the one that implemented the Getting Schooled rules. And he was saying when he first saw it, and I think this was the same across the board for me as well from the content side. We first saw it in Tony's workshop. And we were like, okay, well, that it kind of like breaks all of the progression in Marvel, and all the ranks and all of that are tied to so many of the other numbers and all of the other math that's happening in the sheet. So on first glance, we were like, okay, that's scary. But this is the playtest version, so we have time now to look at this and kind of the core ideas that Marvel wants to do with this, and think about how are we going to approach this when that X-Men book comes out. So we were using that and looking at it, and then when that X-Men book finally got sent to us, we saw the final version of the rules. And as we started to actually put it in, and I say we, but really it's 99% Thomas in this stage of the process. He's looking at it and seeing actually there's kind of a way we can get around this, where we don't have to worry about how those pieces that you're going to add on that are usually tied to the rank that you are.
Uh-huh.
When you rank up, you get all of these bonuses and things. You get more points to spend here, there, and everywhere. So without attaching things to there, and instead doing them piece by piece, so that part actually ended up being easier than he thought it would be. And then the last trick of it was when you actually click that button at the end, when you've gotten all of your checkboxes filled and you say rank up, how do you then not have extra things come on that would usually come when you rank up, but you've already done? And so the way that he ended up doing it was once you click that rank up button, it actually takes away all of those bonus points that you got by clicking those checkboxes, but it immediately adds them back because now you're a higher rank. So the user
Right.
doesn't see anything as you're going through as a player clicking through and doing that, but the back end of it, so the math all checks out and is all correct. that's what's happening there. And so that's kind of the solution. As thankfully, again, because of Tony's workshop, we had extra time to think about it. Like that's the solution that Thomas got to. And then it became what it is now, which is like really easy to use. And you can just jump in and put that on any character with that optional rule setting, and then just immediately start, doing that more progressive form of character progression instead of
Right.
just like, boop, you rank up. It's all right, this session you get one of these. And so pick which one you want. And it's really nice flavor. And it really, I think, works really well with X-Men, but also just works really well for the way a lot of people want to play a tabletop game is they
Mhm.
love that granular progression. And so it's like extra fun when you bring in your original characters or your favorite characters and you start to like slowly see how they can grow session to session. So it was pretty
Oh,
exciting, and I'm glad that we were able to get it in.
yeah, it scratches that itch that so many gamers have of wanting to see that, and
Yeah.
that was, I don't want to say let's say it was a known feature of the original rollout, and there were some people that just didn't like that feature. So adding this in, I feel like it's brought in, and I've told you before, all of my games use this now. Even when it was back in February, I immediately changed over to this. So I've been thinking about the edge cases. I remember when it came out, and shout out to Thomas for this. I'm like, all right, let's see what happens when I click rank up. Is it really going to work? I'm like, oh yeah, it worked. Well, okay, I should have expected that it worked, but you know what? I think a lot of our experiences with other software companies is sometimes things that should work don't work. And shout out to Thomas and the rest of the team. Uh, it worked exactly like it was supposed to on day one. So I think that's great. And you touched
Really
on a
glad to
couple
hear.
things I really want to share with everyone because everything you're talking about to me is just so cool to see it. So I'm going to share my screen right now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at a character I've got here. It's a rank 2 character, and we can see we have an option for optional rules in the character builder. This wasn't there before. If I click on that, we can see we have two optional rules. We've got getting schooled and mutant reputation. So we're going to focus on getting schooled today. But just a quick question for you, Mellie. I
Yeah.
assume in the future we might see when different expansions come out, we might see this is the place where we'll see other rules populated in
Yeah,
toggles.
absolutely. So yeah, as Marvel introduces more things that are going to be unique and just like you can choose to put this in, like kind of a plug and play sort of thing, you'll see this. And folks who use some of our other nexuses, I'll see this as well. Like Pathfinder has a whole list. I think there's at least 10 things on that list of different
Right.
optional things you can turn on, which is really great because one of the great things about tabletop games is like how customizable they are. It's your game at your table. And so we want to facilitate that.
Yeah, and you can do this by character. So if you have one game, an ongoing game where you want to use the old rules or the primary rules, you can keep this toggled off. And then you're starting a new game and you want to adopt the getting school rules, you can toggle this on. And
Yeah.
you can
Or hey,
toggle it
you
on.
have a game with only one mutant in it. That character will use mutant reputation,
Oh
but
yeah.
maybe nobody else does.
Right. True. I hadn't even thought of that. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone keep your eye over here under powers and weapons. Once we clicked on getting school, haha, magic. We have a whole new section that pops up over here. So if we click on that, you're going to see a very familiar looking chart. So this looks exactly like it does in the book, word for word. And of course, it's interactive. So we can click on any things and you'll see we get a 1 over here indicating we have one decision to make. If we clicked on 2, that's going to update to 2. And as we move on, it updates the left hand nav, which is really great. Oh, and then let's show if we select all of these, and I won't actually click the button, but you've played 10 sessions, you've done all sorts of great things,
Yeah.
boom, and that would take this character from rank 2 to rank 3. But there's a couple things I want to focus on here. So let's say we've got a couple of PowerPoints we want to look through. If I go to the powers and weapons section, I can see I've got 2 points to play with. Now, I had already put 2 ability points into this character up just upon regular character creation. So I've got a couple to play with. So I can go into the ranged weapon, say, and I can click on a couple extra. So let's say, let's go with point blank parry, and let's take a fast hands. Now, one thing I want to point out, the rules dictate that when you start your process incrementally going from rank 2 to rank 3, you can choose the rank 3 powers. And here's that in action. We have the ability to take a rank 3 power. So I can select that. You can see I've got the happy check mark saying I'm good. no more PowerPoints to use, and I've just ranked up my character.
And this is another piece that Thomas was actually saying was one of those other challenges,
Oh yeah,
was that, if you are actually rank 2, but you start that getting schooled because you now could qualify for rank 3, but technically you don't have that number
right.
in, your character store that tells our system this is a rank 3 character. Was how do you do that? So it's another, little piece of things that has to be thought about, and
Yeah,
that is really great when Thomas or myself or Michael Opper or any number of people on our team go through rules. Is like, what are the like edge cases that are going to impact other places that we got to think about now, so we don't get surprised later when suddenly we're like, oh, but also we need this thing.
right. And that was this, I think, the single biggest piece of feedback we heard back in February when they ran the playtest, when Marvel ran the playtest for the rules after that first Tony's workshop, was what do you do with this? The great thing about Demiplane is you don't have to ask that question. You don't have to look for a clarification because Demiplane is having conversations with Marvel and confirming these edge cases, right, as they pop up. So we can rest assured if this is the way it works in, Demiplane, that's that's probably the only confirmation that you need. So there's
Yeah.
one of these edge cases. I'm curious to hear if this was a similar question because I still hear folks asking about this. But let's get rid of those two that we took. And let's say we've got two powers to play with. Instead of, actually, let's knock it down to one. Let's go back here. Let's knock it down to one. We played one game and we said, all right, I want to expand this character's number of power sets. We've only got one. We've been focused on that, but let's give her some martial arts powers. So we can click on select power sets. We still got our one power point here. And also it points out our thematic bonus is +1. It's great that it points that out because if there's one error or one question that I see people have online, if they do things manually, it's not remembering the thematic bonus. So somebody might be commenting on it. Oh, I think your build is wrong. Nope, thematic bonus.
Yep.
I would just bet money on that without even looking at it. They've forgotten about the thematic bonus. Or if somebody is posting something, maybe they don't have enough powers because they're not using a tool. They're just kind of doing it by the book. It's really easy to forget that. So to have that reminder up there, awesome. But now, so what would happen if we scroll down and we take martial arts? Once we select that, it automatically calculates you've lost your thematic bonus because remember, you're not rank 3 yet. You're still rank 2. You selected a power set. You have two power sets, which, it shows very clearly here, two power sets, but you don't have that power, even though, so you almost have to make that investment. But then once you rank up to rank 3, you fully get into rank 3. That's when as the rules dictate, that's when you get that extra thematic bonus. So it took me and my group like months to really think about and figure out what is the way this should work. And you guys have got it here. And that's just like there are questions I saw between 2 days ago and today that I'm like, oh, I don't want to answer it now because I'm going to be showing it in a video. Like these are questions that people have, and just by using a tool like this, those queries go away.
Yeah, and I think that that's such a big piece of the digital tabletop side of things and why I'm so passionate about it.
Mm.
Because I mean, I've been playing tabletop games for a long time, played on paper for a long time, but the digital tools just made it so much easier to not only convince my friends to give it a try and play. And now, of course, they all love tabletop games, but they had to have an easy in, but also from the fact of like, there's so many things going on, and it's
Mm.
okay to not get it right because again, it's a tabletop game. Like that's fine. But if I don't have to necessarily remember all these edge cases and I can kind of have this and I can have, again, like you said, it's not even just doing it and it doesn't explain it. Like the rule is pointed out there, that all of those things help me learn and understand a game faster and empower me. Like it's not limiting me. It's me going, okay, great. Oh, what's this on my sheet? Open it up. Oh, all the information is right there. I don't have to
Yep.
go like flipping through and trying to find it. And that is honestly what's so special about this for me. Whether, you're playing around a table, that's how I prefer to play. So I always have like my tablet with me, which has my sheet on it. Or if you're playing online, obviously you can use it. And it takes that one little bit of edge off. So whenever you're like learning a new game, especially, I feel like in a lot of cases you can learn through playing because of what the sheet provides you as far as information goes.
It definitely grants you an edge as a player to get that extra reroll
Yes.
and take the higher number as a player. Yeah, I mean,
Excellent use
obviously,
of game mechanics.
obviously, yeah. And I had a player last night playing for just the second time, not familiar with the rules, and was playing a character from the X-Men expansion. So yeah, just being able to go to the character sheet here and look at all of the rules and be able to just click on anything and get that nice pop up, or even to just, people don't, not everyone realizes this. You can click on like speed and let's say you've got, well, here, initiative. Why is my initiative what it is? Well, I've got the +2 because of vigilance. Why is my runs, if my run speed was a 6 because I had a 5 agility or higher, it would lay that out right here. So it's so
Yeah.
great to just be able to click on that, see the rules. And like you said, it's almost like a learning tool. It's not just a tool
Yeah.
to help you play, it's a tool to help you learn. And I saw that last night. I was playing with 4 people that really didn't have, maybe they had, I think they, 3 of them only had 1 game under the belt, and we were playing Deadpool. Had the best time, seamless, no delays. It really went as well as you could expect for a really rookie group of teams, and all of them
I
using
love to hear that.
Demiplane. Yeah. And of course you can share the profiles and everything. And it's like, here's your character. Let's play. So
Yeah.
that's just
I'm
fantastic.
a personal big fan. And again, this was a Thomas Opper thing of the character selection
Mhm.
of just like seeing all of these options load in and like searching through and finding so many characters that are ready to play or ready to edit. If you're like, oh, this character should be slightly different in my version of the character, like you can just grab Jessica Jones, be like, I'm just gonna make her, if you're me, or be like, she's the rank 6 actually. Because this is my Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, Cosmic Investigator.
Heck
I
yeah.
love it. That could be so much fun.
Yeah. And that's
Jessica
a
Jones
thing
was
you
the
can
first
do.
character I played, so I love playing her.
She's
She's
amazing.
the
Yeah.
best.
I
Yeah.
always use her whenever I'm like checking something or testing something. I'm just like, there's so many characters I could check with, but I'm just going to check with Jessica Jones first.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so great. I'm going to stop the share here and get back to a couple of other questions. Um, so is there any other information you might have about, that particular bit of functionality, especially? I mean, we talked through it already, but I guess one question might be is, did you have back and forth with Marvel, through this part of the development for the Getting Schooled rules in particular?
Yeah, for getting schooled, we didn't need too much. I think the playtest really solidified those rules. So it
Okay.
was really clear to us, sort of when they provided it to us, like it felt very clear. It was just a matter of solving the development puzzle. But we absolutely do, as a general rule, frequently go back and forth with Marvel on things
Mm.
and make sure we're understanding it correctly. And this goes across our game systems. Like if we're sure that this is how something works, we'd rather ask and double
Mhm.
check because again, you're going to have people using the tool set and they're going to hopefully learn the game through it. And so we want to try to make sure that we're accurate. So one of the big ones when we first launched the Marvel character tools, the biggest challenge I think, and the one we went back and forth on with Marvel the most was speed.
Yeah.
Speed is very specific, and there's so many different ways that things can impact speed because your agility can impact it, your size can impact it, various powers can impact it, but some of them only impact it when you use an action, and some of them should always be showing in the speed for your sheet, and some of them stack and some of them don't stack. And so trying to make sure that we got that correct was so huge. And this goes to one of our developers, Flux, who's no longer with us, but Flux was the progenitor of the Marvel speed
Mm.
system. I worked with him very closely because I was the one creating the pre-gen, so I would be testing and seeing all the different combinations. But we were able to get to a place where that was great. And then when X-Men came out, it had the unusual size trait,
Yes.
which has even more speed calculations. So we had to, again, go back and say, okay, so now we have these other ways that we need to multiply or divide the speed. How do we do that and still, again, get the correct results so that when a player opens up a character that is, microscopic size, that it works, that it's correct. Or if they open up the character that is Titanic, they open it up and that speed is going to come in correctly and they don't have to, do an override and get it to show up correctly.
Right.
So that was a big back and forth to make sure, again, we were understanding it correctly. So saying, okay, if this is how it's set up and this is what it looks like on the character profiles in this book, So assuming this character profile is correct and this logic is correct, is this the way that we should be doing it? And Marvel was so great. Shout out to CJ and to Marty Forbeck for like going back and forth and making sure that like we had it correct in our system, so that again, like
Right.
not just players, but also, as they continue to build the game, being able to see the way that people are using the sheets or how they can use the sheets to, again, like even make their jobs easier with creating more characters in the future. Hey, these calculations, you can trust in them because,
Right.
you worked with us to make them correct.
That's awesome. So, how about any additional cool things you've got planned in the future for, listen, Peter's not going to listen to this, so you can share all the secrets.
Yeah, well, I actually do have a secret to spill, and I feel like
Ooh,
by the time this video goes out, it might not be a secret anymore. Um,
ooh, that's a
but
challenge.
yeah, that's a challenge to you, Fuzzy. Can you get this out before we release it? Because we do have actually an awesome feature that we're adding in that's been very requested both by users and also by me. Again, the person who makes all the pre-gens, so I see the places where it's like I really want something to do this,
Right.
which is going to be the tech reliance and magic item reliance. So that is going to be available very soon, if not already. And I'm going to do a little, I'm going to show it off actually. So let
Fantastic.
me share this. It is a fuzzy on the details exclusive.
All right. I love it.
Uh, so I've opened up here Escapade, one of the
Mhm.
characters from the recent book. So we've got Escapade here. And originally, when we made these pre-gens, we didn't have a way to really mark things with tech reliance. So I used the notes and descriptions to try and make
Mhm.
that information clear. It's hard to really actually make that super helpful, when you're at the table. So this update is going to let you actually mark specific powers as having tech reliance, or in the case of magic item reliance, magic item reliance.
Mhm.
So I have tech reliance on this character, as you can see here, tech reliance. And then when I'm in my powers and I'm going through and you click on a power, you can actually just set that to be tech reliance right in there. So I've already gone through with this character. I actually just grabbed this. I created a character, clicked Escapade because I've already updated the pre-gens
Mhm.
on our side. So you'll be able to just immediately, a new version of those characters will already have this done for you. But as you're
Woo-hoo.
making your own, you'll see that in there as you can just go ahead and click and make that tech reliance. So you'd be like, oh, great, I already have that. And you'll also see here that we have that tech reliance symbol show up once you've selected that. So you'll also see it really easily there. Then when you're on the sheet, let's go take a look there.
Oh,
This is where I think it really sings, because this is where you want to be able to say like, hey, the tech that I use or the magic item that I use is unavailable or it's broken or something. So we do have sliders that will appear here if you
awesome.
have those features where you can say that things are damaged. So this is going to say my tech is damaged. My tech reliance features should all be unavailable to me. So if you click that, it is going to break those lines in your character sheet. So you
That
can
is
still see
so
them,
cool
but
looking.
you'll see that they are broken. You can't use them. So you'll see that there. And then if you did want to like clean up your view, so like I don't need to see these right now, you can just hide them as well. So you can hide what's disabled there. And then when you fix your tech, you can go ahead and unclick that and you have your powers back.
That is
And
awesome.
there
And
it is.
I love the little visual there. That just gives
Yeah.
it like that little extra. That is so
That is
cool.
a Thomas Opper. He made the whole system, but then he also put that cherry on top. And when he showed it to me, I was like, yes, yes, I'm so excited. Looks great. And so you had that for tech reliance and for magic item reliance. And then in addition to this update, we've also added, you may have noticed that we have journal here, which isn't currently in the sheet. So that's going to be coming with this update as well, where you can put notes directly into your character. So if you wanted to take notes or you want to digitize your notes later,
Okay.
you can do that. And then you can also search it. So you can actually search for any word that appears in your notes. So it's really to see like, oh, did we know that NPC before? And you can like quickly look something up. So I use that in a lot of the games that I play in, but you can just literally pull it up here and make a journal entry. So title it whatever you want. Fuzzy on the details. What a great guy. And then that note is there. And I'd be able to, search and be able to come up with, results that have that keyword in them.
That
Yes, I'm really
is
excited about that. And then,
amazing.
yeah, and then the last thing that might not be coming very soon, but is coming down, in the very near future, is going to be more ways to customize the numbers on your sheet.
Mhm.
So people might not know, but you can already override a lot of values. Whether you
Mhm.
have a temporary effect or if your GM is giving you something that goes outside of the rules, because hey, that's what again TTRPGs. It's your game at the table, so you can do that already. So if I was to click on health here and then click on this edit button, so you'll see that pencil there is always
Mhm.
a great sign on that sheet. You could go ahead and change this. And actually, I got 65 health. And I have 1 damage reduction because of my GM gave me this extra helpful chocolate bar that I ate, and it's great. You can do the same thing with speeds. You can do the same thing with a lot of your stats here. So your ability score, your defense score, non-combat. The one thing we really didn't have a way for you to modify the numbers for are the damage multipliers and the damage bonuses. So
Mhm.
that is the piece that is missing right now, but we are going to be adding. Whether it's already available right now or it's very soon coming down the pipe, that will soon be another field that, again, you can customize if you have a temporary effect or a long-term something that your group has allowed you to add to your sheet.
Awesome. So for all of the werewolf fans out there, including my buddy Van,
Yes.
he'd kill me if I didn't specifically ask this. We've got the Berserker trait, which modifies defense scores. Is that something that might be included in this?
Yeah, so you can already modify your defense scores. You do have to do them one at a time,
Mhm.
but you can absolutely, I could make this my defense score 14 instead. And then when we're talking about the actual, different actions or traits and other things that you can activate,
Mhm.
we're looking at doing that in the future. So we already have, we actually just introduced in our Cosmere Nexus, which was a
Mhm.
part of the Kickstarter about
Mhm.
a month ago now. Time is a soup, where we for the very first time included temporary effects. So when you're on that and you have a stance or a form or you activate a temporary power, you can actually just click and it will apply that to your sheet. That's not currently available outside of that one game, but that was sort of our proof of concept for how is this going to work in our sheet environment. And so now we kind of take what we learned from there and start to apply it to our other games. So long term, absolutely, we want to have it be even easier for
Mhm.
players to use the features that are on their sheet and say, yeah, defense stance, for example. I want to just go into defense stance and gain whatever effects. So this would maybe add a note,
Mhm.
to my defense section here that would say like I have give them trouble on their
Mhm.
attacks. So various things that you'd be able to turn on and be able to like have active. So again, not short term, but absolutely long term. We would love to get that temporary effect and temporary activations across various of our character sheets, including Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, I think a lot of people just love that you have both short-term and long-term plans and that, you've got a long-term view of the game and the product. It's so wonderful. One follow-up question on the tech reliance, though. You mentioned characters
Yeah.
like Escapade, and there are certain characters in the newer releases, whether they're some of the free ones online or the ones in the book, that have that notation, but some of the ones from the core rule book don't. Is that something you're going to try and remedy to try and retrofit that marker on each one of, say, Iron Man's traits and say, yeah, Iron Man shouldn't be able to fly, shouldn't be able to use his energy powers, etc.?
So short term, no, because we can't make
Yeah.
those decisions ourselves.
Right.
We're not the creators of the game, but it is absolutely something that we're going to be asking our friends at Marvel to say, is that something that you could provide to us? List that has, which things are affected by the tech reliance for each of these characters, because we would love to have that on there. But of course, in the short term, again, you can set that yourself. So whether that is in the character builder or you could just go right to a power right on your sheet and add tech reliance to it, and it will go ahead and attach that. So you can absolutely do that for Iron Man when you add him, or Magneto or other characters that use a piece of tech. You can absolutely go in and put that in, and then long term, we would love to get that. We're
Yeah.
gonna chat with Marvel and see what we can do because obviously they're very busy with the upcoming books. But
Mhm.
if we're able to get that kind of backwards compatibility in, we would love to.
I literally saw a Reddit post 2 hours ago talking about this. There have been Facebook. It's like the hottest question right now. So
I mean, I was just asking it myself because I was updating all the pre-gens and I was
yeah,
like, hang on, these ones don't have it. I should make sure I ask.
yeah.
So
Awesome.
absolutely, I'm on the I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's great to see though, as each book has come out, I feel like it's just continuously improved the game. And I think that's just another area where it's improved, where you see like exactly what these things are affecting. I love those little symbols, by the way.
Yeah.
Every time I see them, I don't know, they just like tickle something in my brain. But you really do see, and that's what you see with like any RPG, is that as they grow and as they get more players and as they start to really take their place in the industry, as you'll see all those things really coming together. And I think the X-Men book really did that for Marvel. I love the X-Men book. And I think that, I'm really excited to see what the next book is, to see, as it continues down this really great path that it's on. I think it's just really bright future.
Awesome. And then one last just quick question. I know, from previous updates that you've given, Demiplane is working on PDF export functionality for all of the games that they support. And you guys have got a mountain of work there, and you're
Yes.
chipping away at it. You got a few of the big ones you knocked out of the way. And the last update I remember is Demiplane had said they were targeting end of the year to have all of them complete. Does that still stand, or do you have any update on that?
That's still the plan. Yeah, we should actually have again, depending on when this video comes out. But along with this release on the Marvel side, we also have the Cosmere PDFs that are going to be supported,
Okay.
and then we're on to the next set of PDFs. So we are continuing to work through them one by one.
All right. Thanks for that. So, Mellie, thank you so much time. First of all, for all of the great, insights into how things have been implemented in the past and all of your, looks to the future. I mean, great information, a lot to get excited about. But I know you are so great with giving updates all the time. Can you tell us a little bit about how people, might stay keep their finger on the pulse of what's going on at Demiplane?
Absolutely. First place I would recommend is our Demiplane Discord, the Demicord. So you can get there with discord.gg/Demiplane and come and join us there. You will get, any announcement that we make there, but you can also ask questions. If you think you find something that is a bug or an issue, you can post it there. We are pretty quick at fixing things that are like, pretty easy fixes. And then everything else, like our devs are really good at making sure that things, get fixed up and tied up where there are issues. So we love to hear that. As well, we have forums. So that's just demiplane.com/forums. And you can also find us on social media. So Twitter or X and Instagram, Facebook. You can find us TikTok and all of those places. And then occasionally you will see me in the lands of Reddit as I just lurk in various places and see if there's anything I can help with.
And also office hours as well.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Fuzzy. Yes, we do have in our Discord, we have office hours every single week on Tuesdays, Tuesday afternoons for North America. And that is a place where myself and sometimes a guest come on for a half hour and we answer questions. So you can ask anything and we will
Mhm.
give you as clear of an answer as we can. Sometimes we can't say much more than it's planned, but we absolutely try to share whatever we can. And then we also sometimes tease new things. So if you ever
Mhm.
want to ask questions, definitely pop in there and you can ask it right to my face. And I will hopefully then eject an answer out of that face into your lovely ears.
And pretty much everyone that I've been to, there's been a giveaway of some
Yes.
kind, and pretty good ones, bundles of entire game systems. Great opportunity if you want to check out, say Vampire or Cosmere or any of the other myriad games you've got, and the umpteen redacted ones that you've got coming out in the
Yes. So
future.
many. Yes, we
Um,
always have a giveaway for office hours. And if I miss office hours for a week, I'll usually do a giveaway anyways, just, to soothe the wounds of missing office hours.
Yeah, if I recall, even there was one office hours where you weren't supposed to be there, but you were there anyway, if I recall.
Yeah, I was out, but I was just, making sure everything was okay. That's just, I think that's something not just for me, but a lot of the Demiplane people. We
Yeah.
really care about not just the product, but the community and the games. We're all gamers ourselves, so we even when we're trying to achieve a good work-life balance, sometimes we're like, but what if I just did like this one little thing? It's fine. I'll just do this. So
Yeah.
you'll see us around a lot, even when we say we're not going to be there.
Yeah. Well, that passion comes through loud and clear, not only in your your customer service, but in the product. Thank you on behalf of the community. And we'll put links to all that good stuff in the description. So feel free to check that out. And Mellie, once again, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to chat.
All right. Bye, everyone.